This is the fifth in a series of videos explaining how to use the Paraplanning Online Suitability Report writing solution. It is assumed that you have already watched the preceding videos in this series, and we strongly recommend that you watch all of the videos before attempting to write a report. Having completed all of the required sections, the Download to Word button will become active. On pressing this button, the software will retrieve all of the relevant technical notes and compliance wording associated with the recommendations being made, and compile them into a professionally presented Word document. This can take anything up to several minutes depending on the number of sections you've included and the speed of your internet connection. I'm using Word 2007 for this demonstration. However, if you're using different versions of Word, this may look and behave slightly differently. Once the report has been downloaded to Word, it becomes a completely separate entity from the Paraplanning Online software. You're free to make any changes to the document within the confines of the standard functionality of Word, but bear in mind that any changes you do make will be saved locally as a Word document. Should you wish to make any permanent edits to the underlying Paraplanning Online text for inclusion in future reports, this can be achieved via the template editor, which will be explained in more detail in the next video in this series. In the first instance, for aesthetic purposes, I recommend that you change the view from web layout to print layout, like so. This will ensure that the look of the report on your screen will be exactly what you print out. Although at this stage the report might look like a typical Word document, it's actually still a web page. Therefore, before you start to edit the report, it's essential that you convert the document into a standard Word document. This is achieved by selecting Save As from the File menu, inserting a suitable file name and changing the Save As type from web page to Word document, like so. You can then select a suitable place on your computer to save the report, for example in My Documents. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'll only briefly review the content of the report. Should you wish to study the content and general layout of a Paraplanning Online report in more detail, you can view a number of example reports by following the example report link on our homepage. The report starts with a title page which can be personalised with your own logo. The first section of the report is entitled Introduction and Basis of Advice. This confirms the client's current position, risk profile, their objectives, and how you are going to be remunerated for the advice provided. As previously highlighted, this is now a standard Word document which you can edit as you deem appropriate. A perfect example of an edit you may wish to make relates to the attitude to risk definition. Because the Paraplanning Online software facilitates the inclusion of multiple advice recommendations, your personalised attitude to risk definitions will automatically be included in every report. However, attitude to risk by its very nature relates to investment advice. Therefore, if you are purely including a non-investment related recommendation, such as a level term assurance or mortgage recommendation, then it could be argued that these attitude to risk definitions will bear no relevance to the advice being given, and can therefore be deleted, like so. I'll stress that this ability to edit the report to reflect your individual requirements can be applied throughout the report. Moving on, we were presented with a section entitled Aspects of your financial affairs not addressed but deemed important. Again, the contents of this page is a direct reflection of the answers provided at this question in the wizard of the introduction section. Next is the investment review section. Each investment is clearly and logically presented with the accompanying justification for the action you are recommending. It is worth at this point highlighting the intuitive nature of the Paraplanning Online software. Because the encashment of an onshore bond has been recommended, a statement regarding the chargeable events has been automatically included within the report, and as you'll see later, the appropriate technical notes have also been included within the appendix. The next section is the actual investment recommendation section. All of the recommendation sections are structured in a similar format for the purposes of continuity and for your ease of reference. The section starts with the reasons why a specific investment has been recommended. This is then followed by a brief summary of the issues to be considered in selecting a provider, and the summary of the actual recommendations being made, and of course the justification. It's worth pointing out at this stage that all of the tables throughout the report are fully editable using the standard functionality of Word. For example, let's assume you have no need for the monthly savings column and want to delete it. This is easily achieved by simply highlighting the column, right-clicking the mouse and selecting Delete, and voila! Next comes the actual fund or investment strategy recommendations. This is followed by a recommendation to place the investment into a discount trust. Some technical notes regarding trusts will also be automatically included within the appendix of the report. Finally, at the end of this section, we find required compliance paragraphs relating to such matters as cancellation rights affordability and emergency fund, and other options considered but discounted. That concludes the actual recommendation part of the report. The rest of the report consists of an appendix of supporting information, which is specific to the actual recommendations being made within the main body of the report, and is automatically included as a direct result of the options selected in the wizard. This includes the market and property outlook, the risk warnings associated with the actual recommendations being made, any related technical notes, further notes on the workings and taxation of any products you have discussed within your report, the fund performance heading page, and finally the confirmation page. That concludes the video on how to download your report to Word and tailor it to your specific requirements. Please proceed to the next video where I shall explain how you can make permanent edits to the underlying Paraplanning Online text using the Report Template Editor facility.